Hi, this is Josh Kulp. This is the video for Daf Shevui from Masechet Ketubot Daf Ayin Bet, page 72. You might be able to see I'm sitting in a slightly unusual spot. I am actually at the Conservative Yeshiva, a place where I rarely video these films, but you should know, as always, that these films and Daf Shevui is sponsored by the Conservative Yeshiva in Jerusalem. We'd love to see you there. I'd like to talk about the Mishnah that, and give a little bit of the historical background. The Mishnah that appears in the first half that really goes over the meaning of Dat Moshe v'Yehudit, the religion or the practices of Moshe and the Jews. You should note a couple things historically. First of all, you might recognize something that's similar to this phrase from the Kiddushin formula, the betrothal formula. Traditionally, when a Jewish man marries a Jewish woman, he says to her, Harei at mikudeshet li, behold, you are betrothed to me, Kedat Moshe v'Yisrael, as is the religion of Moses and Israel. And here we get a similar phrase, dat, right? That same word, dat, which we usually translate as religion, but probably means something more like law, of Moses and Yehudit. What's very interesting about this phrase, first of all, is we find Dat Moshe v'Yehudim, the phrase, the law of Jews and Moses and the Jews, in Ketubot from the Second Temple period. One of the most exciting archaeological finds in Jewish history. Most of them have taken place in the Dead Sea area because texts are better preserved over there. And not among the Dead Sea Scrolls, but in that general region, there have been Ketubot found, some of which were written in Greek and some of which were written in Hebrew. All of these, and some of which were written in Aramaic, and all of them have that phrase, Kedat Moshe v'Yehudim, as is the law of the Jews and Moses and the Jews. Even more interesting, if any of you have ever been to Beit Guvrin, it's that place where there are many, many caves underneath the surface that we surmise were used as workplaces. You may have gone there on an archaeological dig. It is run by archaeological seminars. Its technical term is called Tel Maresha. And among the archaeological finds is an Edomite ketubah, an Edomite marriage document. So these are not Israelites, but a neighboring peoples, where reconstructed their Greek formula, in other words, nothing connected at all to the Israelites, to the Jews, is kinomos, as is the law of Edom, and that's all it says there, and there may be another phrase missing because it's just a broken shard of pottery. So you can see that this phrase, Kedat Moshe v'Yehudim, like the law of Moses and the Jews, is really not something that's really uniquely Jewish. It is taken from the Greek and Roman tradition from this region, from the region of ancient Israel, and it was adopted into the Jewish use of ketubot. From there, it became fodder, learning material for the Beit Midrash, and our Mishnah is really, I would call, a midrash on that ancient ketubah phrase. A midrash, by a sense of trying to tease more textual meaning of that normative phrase, Kedat Moshe v'Yehudim. Originally it was Yehudim, Jews, and not as appears in our Bavli Yehudit, the Jewish religion, but it was the religion of Jews. You can still see this in manuscripts of the Mishnah. And our Mishnah is really a midrash trying to say, what's the difference? After all, we know that the Torah is not supposed to be superfluous. So what's the difference between Dat Moshe, the religion of Moses, the law of Moses, and the law of the Jews? And our Mishnah says Dat Moshe are things that are tied into ritual transgressions. She causes him to do a ritual transgression. And the law of the Jews is connected to improper behavior. That is the topic that we learn in this Mishnah, but it has a rich history of literary tradition, legal tradition, not just among the Jews, but among the Greeks as well.